We talked about it as being the winds of change in the air, and yet again, we've seen a new look Indian side with a new look Indian score. You'd have to say that if you look back at the history of T20 internationals played. Was it the inexperience? Was it the surface? We shall try and find out very shortly. Let's remind you of India's efforts in the first 20 overs after being asked to bat by Dasun Shanaka. 132 for 5 in their 20 overs. Dhananjaya looking back to his match-winning best, 2 for 29. Dasun Shanaka picked up that first wicket, and Dushmanta Chamira finished the innings well. No place on that bowling lineup for Hasaranga, who also bowled really well. Top scorer for India was the captain, Shikhar Dhawan, but the real question remains about the surface. Harsha and Zaheer joining me, we wanted an exhibition of sorts for the youngsters, for India to try and put on a show. Can't really put on a show there, can you?
You know, when you take your dog out for a walk, sometimes the dog doesn't want to come and you have to pull at the leash and say, come, come. But the dog says, I don't want to go. The ball was like that. It didn't want to reach the other end.
Very interesting analogy.
It was so slow, but we're talking about the bowling, so I'm going to keep quiet and listen to the bowler.
Yeah, Harsha, Zaheer, if you find a surface like this as a bowler, be it a quicker bowler who's trying the slower ones, or of course the spinners, they used 8 bowlers. You still need to utilize a surface against a team that, even with newcomers, had a pretty decent lineup.
Well, you look at that bowling card and you see that Isro Udana had just bowled 1 over. That strikes you, and that was like a forced option which the captain Shanaka had to use. You've seen Hasaranga bowling that 19th over. So there were like various things which happened. I think India, you have to accept that they were maybe borderlining being overcautious. There is no doubt about it. When you have Bhuvi and Kuldeep batting at 6 and 7, clearly that concern was showing on in terms of the options which the top 5 were looking to use. They were not looking to go straight. They were looking to use that slog sweep, which is the low risk option. In the process, lost couple of wickets. You're seeing some reverse sweep as well. Now, why as a batter you want to take those options? Because that 6-7 was playing on their mind. They didn't want to take that high risk option. They didn't want to go aerial down the ground. Just so that they are cautious. And that is something which may have resulted in the risk taking and resulted in seeing that maybe 20 runs short. Yes, the wicket has looked sticky. It has looked like that the whole series. Once the ball got older, it got difficult. But the fact that the seamer was down and Shanaka had to use the spin option as well worked in Sri Lanka's favor. Add to that, the cautious Indian batters worked in their favor.
Yeah, something we talked about, Harsha, on Combox, with are they looking at number 6 and going, well, Samson can't play a free-flowing knock. The 2 debutants certainly don't want to be throwing it away. But while Shikhar Dhawan and Ruturaj Gaikwad were going, they set a decent platform. It looked as if that 150 that Zaheer was talking about was still on the cards.
Most times you look at the new ball and you say, wow, new ball bowler, let me see off. The new ball bowler's got the cherry, but in this case, the white ball. I think the new ball represents the best opportunity for the batsman. If you look at what happened today, first 3 overs, 27. And then it just started to get slower and slower and slower, and see what happened thereafter. Look at the run rate, 5.4 in the middle overs. I think that is where India's got to win the match with all the spin bowling options. They've got a slow surface. They've got a huge boundary, not huge, but large boundary to play with. So I think the new ball will be the key. So when they started off like that, yeah, you thought 150 was on. I think it needed one of Padikkal or Sanju Samson to be batting at the end, because both are capable of hitting the sixes. So you're really 2 6s short. You made 132. 2 6s is 144. Then you're a bit here and there, you get to 150, because if you're hitting 6s, you're also hitting 2s and 1s and 2s. So I think if you're 2 6s short, India will have to ensure that the new ball doesn't concede too many and give them a beginning.
But there was a boundary drought, that's for sure. In fact, it was a record. 8 boundaries hit by India, 7 4s and a 6. That's the lowest by India in a completed T20 international innings where they've batted the full 20 overs. The last one was against South Africa in the 2009 T20 World Cup. So that itself is a reflection with the boundary drought, Zaheer, that credit to the spinners. They just didn't let anyone get away, including Shikhar Dhawan, who was set.
Clearly, I think the plan from Indian batting lineup was very clear. The cautious approach is absolutely fine. I think the first 6 overs, no wicket was a big tick. When you have just 5 batters, these are things which you see at 10 over mark. They were 60. So the wickets in hand was something which was discussed. They wanted to have that platform so that then they can encash on the back 10. Now the wickets anchors also, the innings anchors were clearly defined. Like Sanju Samson, when he came on, he was not looking to play big shots. He was looking to just rotate. So I think the chat around the batting unit, how to approach this innings, the target was 150. They were not looking to go too overboard with that. They wanted to have that 150 on board. So that's how they were approaching the innings. I think the anchor or one batter needed to stay right till the end. That was the planning, which in this approach and wickets tumbling at the wrong time kind of created that scenario where that 15, 20 runs or maybe 25. I still feel it's a 160 track. 160 is a winning score. 132, you can look at it and say that you can put this inexperienced Sri Lankan batting lineup under pressure and make the game out of it and still have chance of winning, no doubt about that. But I think it just kind of the situation, the scenario, and the whole thought process, the inexperience and Indian batting lineup getting caught up in terms of what has been discussed, planned, and going with the game. And if they didn't really go on with the game how it was unfolding, so if you lose wickets, then someone needed to just kind of understand maybe a floater was required in a match like this. The 2 left-handers batting, offies got an opportunity to bowl in tandem there, which kind of worked in Sri Lanka's favor. Maybe someone needed to be promoted, maybe Bhuvneshwar Kumar going up and just taking that chance of the high risk option so that you're protecting your batters. Some kind of thought process on the go maybe was required if the plan A was not successful. But the fact that they were at 10 over mark, 2 wickets down, they thought that things are going according to the plan, and they tried to stick with the plan. Didn't work out.
Quickly, before we get to spinners, a quick comment, Harsha, and you can sort of segue into the spin. Is there's that particular feeling that it's a pass score, need to save 10 runs in the field and let the spinners do the job? Is he just putting on a brave face?
Well, he was the one who was batting there, so he's probably the most qualified to be able to say that. But yeah, I mean, he's not going to say we are 20 short. So he's probably saying that because sometimes you say things that you need to be seen to be saying. But he was batting, he knows it all. Just to pick up on Zaheer's point, I thought maybe if Samson had come in 3, given a right-hander got out, instead of Padikkal going in at that point, see what happened. If you look down the numbers, that was where Ramesh Mendis and Dhananjaya De Silva bowled 4 overs for 22. Neither of them is genuinely a frontline bowler. But 132, I can see why he's saying it's okay. But for that to happen, you can't let someone like an Avishka Fernando or whatever get off to a start. If they get off to a start and they get 25-13, the first 3 overs, the innings is started again. So if you can keep it down early on and make this 130 by saving those 10-12 in the field, make 130 look like 140, 145, you've got a chance.
Well, we know the 2 openers, what they did in the previous game, and we've seen them together in the one-day series. So there is something in there. Wanindu Hasaranga and Chamika Karunatne down the order, but both impact batsmen. Harsha, but very quickly again, to follow up to that, we don't have a finger spinner, a mainline, frontline finger spinner. Nitish Rana plays a role for you?
Maybe if required, if you really find it slow and you want someone to slip in a couple of overs, but Wanindu Hasaranga bowled his 4 overs well, so you'd want Rahul Chahal to bowl his 4 overs well. I think Chakravarti will bowl well on this track too. So I think the bowling is enough. I'm very curious to see how Kuldeep bowls on this surface because he's got a long boundary. One other factor, 12 extras. India cannot give extras because this is a game where every single run you're fighting for, clawing for, you want to hold on to. So you can't concede like the 4 wides that Hasaranga conceded. Whether it should have been or no is a separate issue. So save 10 in the field, ensure there are no extras and make the 130 to look like 145. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm very interested to see how Kuldeep bowls on this track.
Well, lots of wrist work. But Zaheer, if you're standing on that balcony and you've got Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Navdeep Saini walking past you, what would you whisper to them to do on this track? Where would you firstly bowl them, and what would your instruction to them be?
Well, always, and doesn't matter where you are playing. Go for the kill. That first two wickets are so vital, and if you can get them as early as possible, it doesn't matter what the score is. You are going to put that middle order under pressure. So you have to create that scenario. I think Bhuvi and Chetan Sakaria will take the new ball. Chetan Sakaria, I'm really looking forward to the kind of swing which he gets with the new ball, and the back of the hand slower one which he has. I think on this kind of a surface, he will be doubly effective. The stickiness of the wicket will help him bowl that back of the hand slower one. Also, you've seen that one wicket which he has taken with the bounce in the ball. That particular delivery was extra, so he might have that potency with the ball, and also Bhuvaneshwar. Bhuvaneshwar has been effectively using that knuckleball with the new ball and deceiving the batters. So the new ball is going to be very crucial. You will see spin also early from Shikhar Dhawan for sure. Varun Chakravarti is someone which he has used early on as well. So that is going to be interesting to see how he goes along. I think Saini, you've seen now in the last year or so, he prefers to bowl in this format after 6 overs. That's where he's more effective. I think Shikhar would want to use him in that fashion, get that extra bounce and the carry which he has to squeeze them. So maybe this kind of approach you will see from Shikhar, but you'll see aggressive approach from the bowlers and that's the skipper both.
Just looking down that lineup, Minod Bhanuka, the wicket keeper, is the sole left-hand batsman. You got Dhananjay De Silva, Samara Vikrama, Shanaka Mendes, Hasaranga, Karuna Ratne, all right-hand batsmen as you go along. So maybe for the leg spinners or whatever, that might be a good thing for India. They've only got one left-hander.
They certainly have. But what they do have, Harsha, again, when I looked at that Indian bowling lineup, and it's not one they selected out of choice, but it's ended up being a varied bowling lineup. The three quick bowlers who Zaheer Khan just talked about, Chetan Sakaria left arm, Navdeep Saini, a different kind of bowler from Bhuvi, and the three spinners, all different.
Yeah, but Saini's got to be careful. You can sometimes be a little erratic. You can't be erratic on this track. So I don't know. My gut feel tells me that Saini Kuldeep might sort of bowl 4 between them. I mean, you never pre-decide how it goes. I'm just thinking Chahal on this track would have loved bowling on it, especially given the way he was bowling. Even though it meant all leg spinners, but there's no point thinking what if. I think it's defendable. I think, as Zach said, if you can get those wickets early on, I still think it's possible to defend with this. But if you can get wickets early and clog the middle overs.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see Sri Lanka's approach. Can we possibly predict it? It's a tradition, so we keep it going, especially when we've got nowhere close to the predicted scores we got in the first 20 overs. So, gentlemen, as we wrap Cricbuzz Live for this mid-show, 6 over total for Sri Lanka, trying to get to a small score. Zaheer, would you like to go first? Are they going to
42
go hard?
for 2. Making it very quick. 42 for 2.
Bang! He comes. 42 for 2.
I'm going 45.
42-45, maybe a little bit lower. Cautious approach. Should they be cautious? I feel they will be, and it may cost them in the end. 38 is all I'm going for in 6 overs for Sri Lanka. Of course, they will have lost a couple of wickets in the process. Remember Cricbuzz Live, that's what we've been listening to, and Cricbuzz Plus is where you can pick up all the highlights of the ODIs, of the T20Is, and everything you want to keep an eye on. And of course, lots more to find over there. We're going to be on Cricbuzz Combox in the 10th over, as we always do, and we'll wrap things up at the end of the game. Whether or not it's before or after midnight, that is all yours to guess. We'll see you soon on Cricbuzz Live.